Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Hello, gentlemen.
Uh, how's it going? Guys, we are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's special edition of the Let's Talk Show here on UrbanCast. I'm Jack. Damon, my co-host, and I are. I'm here only for a short moment tonight, and joining us tonight is our special guest host, Crystal Valerie, also known as C Val Madam O over on the YouTube channels. Uh, Ms. Valerie is going to be co-hosting tonight for us. We're thrilled to have with us for an engaging discussion with our guest, Uncle Willie Chark, candidate for Council District 3. To be fair, everybody, and not biased, we have chosen a young lady who is active here in our community and proud to be a part of this community to conduct this interview. As many of you know, Uncle Willie does an amazing job helping us cover the things we do in our community. And of course, we feel a certain way about him. As he as his qualities and abilities to lead District 3. However, we wanted this to be about the people of District 3 and not about UrbanCast. Because of that, we have asked Miss Crystal Valerie to conduct this episode of the Let's Talk Show. We invite everybody to participate in the conversation by asking questions in the comments section. Your voice matters, and we want to hear from you. Also, if you haven't registered to vote, you can easily do so online at govote.com. Let's make our voices heard and shape the future of our community together. Also, I'd like to say before I leave, if you are a candidate for office here in Central Louisiana or within our footprint, please feel free to give us a call so we can introduce you to the UrbanCast audience, the most engaged media audience in all of Central Louisiana. With that, Crystal, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you and get out of you and Steve's way so y'all can take care of this conversation tonight.
Thank you, Jack.
All righty. Y'all have a good one.
Crystal, you're on mute.
My apologies.
No problem. Good
Maybe
evening.
you could tell by my motions, since you couldn't hear me, that I was saying hello, hello. How is everybody? How are you doing tonight, Uncle Willie?
I'm doing well.
That's well. Could you please introduce yourself to the looking audience and let them know who you are, and if there's anything specific that you would like for them to know about you? Would you go ahead and let them know at this time?
Well, my government name is Stephen Chark. You know
Okay.
how you work so long to create a name, uh, and then for some reason that name go away. So I'll give you a brief history of this Uncle Willie thing. I started making seasoning at a young age, uh, and I tried to come up with a name that had nothing to do with me. And Uncle Willie was formed. Uh, so that's how the name Uncle Willie came about. I was working for the Rapids Parish School Board, left the school board, went to Procter and Gamble. One of my coworkers kept on asking me to open up the food truck. I was hesitant, saying no, no, no. And eventually I did. And I named the food truck Uncle Willie's Authentic Barbecue. Uh, as time passed, customers swear to God, my name is Uncle Willie. So Uncle Willie stuck. So I answered to Uncle Willie, and I decided to run this campaign as Uncle Willie Chark. Chark is my family name. I'm the proud father of three. I have a daughter, a 27-year-old daughter, and twin boys, uh, and they're 19 years of age. Uh, Both of them received scholarships. One of them received a scholarship to Southern University Shreveport from the Peabody Magnet High School. Uh, he decided went on a football scholarship. He decided he didn't want to play football any longer, so he went to Fargo, North Dakota, and he works for a tractor manufacturing company out there in Fargo, North Dakota. My other twin, Stevon, he's at the Grambling State University, World Fame Marching Band. This summer, he went to Fargo, North Dakota with his brother. So he'll be entering into his junior year of college at Grambling State University. Um, I'm a native of Woodside, Louisiana. Uh, single mom. Originally, we stayed in 2222 East Sycamore, Cars Park. Then when we upgraded, we moved to 2034 11th Street. Uh, as an adult, I made my roots here in Woodside, where I like to call home. And that's a little bit about me. I'm a local entrepreneur, been in business going on 11 years. Uh, Enjoy working for myself, have that freedom to go and come as I please, but I treat my business just like Walmart. We're very consistent, and when the customers expect us to be open, we're open. So that's how Uncle Willie Chark came about.
Okay. Well, thank you for that introduction. You are absolutely an Alexandria native too, Uncle Willie.
Yes,
No,
born and
said
raised.
you went from Carrs Park to down to District 3 where you're running.
Yes,
And then between your boys, you got a house divided. You got Grambling against Southern in your own house.
it's not divided. It's one love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I got a couple of cousins. That's how they are, though. A set of brothers. So that means you care about where you are, right? Over in District 3, and you live there.
I feel like that I'm the best person to represent District 3. In order to do that, I need the community to be the wind beneath my wings. You know, um, we need a community that thrives. Uh, we need to make sure that we are heard, our concerns are being addressed, and at this present time, I don't think that our voice is being heard. So that's why I put my name in the hat again to run for councilman for District Number 3.
Okay. Well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Another question, Uncle Willie. You know that in Alexandria, public crime, we're ranking 50. You
Yes.
know, 49 in correctiveness, um, and our APD has been understaffed for years
Mhm.
now, right?
Yes.
Um, what do you plan to do about that issue in District 3 if you're elected?
Well, Alexandria crime rate is 248% above the national average. We have to put programs in place such as uh, young uh, police academy. Uh, we also need to put young firefighter academies in place. We need to start with our youth. If we can change the direction of our youth, crime, and give our youth something to do, that's a big part of the problem. As far as the police force is concerned, we have to change the way that we're looking at things. We have to change the way that we're advertising. We have to change our whole recruiting strategy because what we're doing now isn't working. And this is not a slight to the Alexandria Police Department because I know those men and women are out there doing the best job that they possibly can do. But a lot of information and a lot of things dealing with Alexandria Police Department was actually taken out of Alexandria Police Department hands and they were put into the administration hands. So sometimes I feel like those guys at Alexandria Police Department that they're handcuffed, and that shouldn't be the case. I think they have qualified people. They do a qualified job, but for some reason we can't get men and women to commit to the Alexandria Police Department. And we're not asking them to lower their standards. We're asking them to raise the bar. But again, Alexandria is a majority African American city, and
Sixty percent.
our police department does not make it. It doesn't look as though we are. it looks like we're the minority instead of the majority.
You're absolutely right. That's actually economic inclusion as well. The 60% population that we make up in Alexandria, uh, there's only 1% of us that fit into that market. You know,
When you look at the disparity study say it's less than 6% of all contracts go to minorities, and it's less than 1% go to.
Uncle Willie is having technical difficulties. Please give us just a moment. Hey y'all, hello everybody from YouTube. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Crystal, I lost you for a second.
I got you back.
Thank you. Were you able
So
to hear me?
I am. I'm able to hear you and see you. I'm
Okay,
glad to have you back.
thank you.
So we have some questions from the audience. I know
Okay.
Jack said in his introduction that we would be taking them. So the first one asks, how would you have your voice heard when, if elected, is one vote?
How would I have my voice heard as one vote? Listen, we have to let's put this out there first. I did support the Johnny Downs uh, recreational tax program. With that being said, if I was on that council, I would have said this pot of money is available this year, and I support Johnny Downs. But next year, when those funds become available, I need those funds to be allocated to my district. We have Franco Hunter Park and multiple parks in different districts that are sitting there. We have no recreational programs. We have no after school programs. It's very important that we engage each other. I am willing to work with any council member when elected for the betterment of our people because this is not about me. This is about the citizens of District 3 and all of Alexandria. But
Because
at the same time, I will hold, just like I expect the citizens of District 3 to hold me accountable, I will hold our councilman at large accountable because they represent all of Alexandria and they vote should reflect that. All of Alexandria, not just certain pockets of Alexandria.
there is transportation and so forth during election time, right? There are programs that do things. I've worked with the election. So if you are elected as councilman for District 3, how can you help improve the transparency and trust between the people and government?
You know, it's not just with people. I put in public information requests on a weekly basis when the agenda come out. I follow their protocol. I send emails. I contact. They say follow the process. The uh, starting about March of this year, the process changed. You were able to call down, tell them what number you wanted on the agenda. I need all the supporting documents for number 22 on this upcoming city council agenda. All of a sudden, it stopped. They said that you have to provide emails. You send emails, you don't get them replied back to. You ask council members about it, they say they don't know why the process changed. We have to be transparent. The city budget came out. In order for you to view the city budget, you had to go during normal business hours and sit there and read over 500 something pages of budget. We're in the 2024. It's digital. Other markets are using it. The Rapides Parish School Board are using it. Pineville's using it. We have to change with time. And for some reason, Alexandria's not willing to change. So we have to be transparent. We have to communicate. I'm willing, once I'm elected, to hold bi-weekly meetings, informing them on the council agenda. I want their input on how to vote, because if it's something pertaining to District 3, it's not about me, it's about the people. And I have yet to see one council person to act or put it back in the people's hand. The people, if once the people elect me, I will work for the people.
Well, let's talk about the people. The people have a specific question for you, Uncle Willie. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Um, Again, we have our community makes up with 60% of us are black residents. Yet, when it comes to being suppliers and vendors, that's that 1% that I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Uh, and we've had economic disparities for generations here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how do you plan to address this disparity? What are you going to do, Uncle Willie, to promote economic inclusion?
I'm glad you asked that question. We have to set goals first. And our goals need to make sure that they include minority owned businesses. Second, we need to pass inclusive legislation to say X amount of contracts will be awarded to minority owned businesses. We have to be business friendly. So we take businesses or new businesses and we pair them with successful businesses. And once you pair them with successful businesses, then you have to make sure that they have everything that they need in order to be successful. At the same time, with those contracts, we need to make sure that the minority owned businesses and all businesses are receiving their payment within a timely fashion so they can make sure that they have the supplies that they need to purchase more supplies. We need to make sure that we partner with a bank to say, I have this new business coming online that has a possibility of getting a contract with the city of Alexandria and they need funding. Can you help them? And they can use the supplies as collateral to do those jobs for the city. And at the same time, they're learning skills, they have a mentor, and they're getting more than that 1% that we talked about.
It sounds like you thought that out. Sounds like you thought that out. So if elected, you'll be able to speak with your constituents and actually show them what we used to call SMART goals, and what exactly you plan to do to be proactive instead of reactive, right?
I have my 100-day plan already laid out. I don't
Okay.
need a training period. And that's what's been happening. We've been having people going in and wanting 4 years of on the job training. I'm prepared to work day one.
Okay. Okay, Uncle Willie. Well, what about this utility crisis?
Well, let's talk about this utility crisis. I'm glad you asked. This utility crisis, this restore program, you had council members that signed into law or approved a restore program without even reading the information or the fine print. What that did was put thousands, 8,000 plus people in the dark. See, In a lot of situations, when you go to the grocery store to purchase your food, you purchase and then you eat your food. With utilities, you use them and then you pay for them. So it wasn't just the hack that caused this. I had some information about in 2020 when
Mm-hmm.
the system was hacked. We had issues before that because if you remember correctly, we were down meter readers.
Yeah.
So our billing cycle was past 30 days out as far as bills was concerned. So that was an issue. With that being said, we moved the disconnect process from the City of Alexandria Utility Department and we put them in administration hands. So it was secretive about when people was going to get cut off. They stopped sending bills, they stopped sending cutoff notices, they stopped answering the phone, they stopped communicating with you. So we have some work to do. Your balance was constantly changing. They couldn't give you an accurate balance of what your bill was. Um, the billing cycle, like I said, it extended to 30 days out. So you didn't know what you owed. And even if you paid what you owed, some people's utility bill went from $200 a month to $900 a month. They're paying more in utilities than their mortgage or their car note or their insurance combined. You have people that's still without utilities. If you ride in certain parts of town, you hear generators. It's generator city. So you have people who's been without utilities for over a year. And then Alexandria, we set our own rates. Uh, we're not covered underneath the uh, federal. What's the name of it? Utility Commission. So if a heat advisory takes place, they have an order to not do any cutoffs. In the city of Alexandria, if your heat index is 105 and the heat advisory is in effect, they can cut you off that same day. So we have to change policies like that because it's hurting our people. That's the reality. The the utilities are being ran off the backs of African American and men and women, low to medium income. The average income in some parts of my district are only 12,000 a year, and they pay way over that in utilities. So their utility bill surpass what they pay or what they make a year. Make it make sense.
So how do you make it make sense long term, Uncle Willie? Excuse me. How do you
How do
make
we?
it make the home rule charter, right? You will be sitting on the council and Alexandria is a home rule charter,
So
right?
how do we make it make sense? We
Mm-hmm.
stop being dependent upon utilities. Utilities are our primary source of income. We have to make Alexandria business friendly, turn the lights on and say, hey, listen, we have four main modes of transportation. We have the Red River, we have the railroad, we have I-49, and we have the airport. There's no reason why every major business pass over Alexandria. Pineville is booming. Ball is booming. Woodworth is booming. We're losing thousands of people per year because we are not business friendly. We should have incentives for businesses to come here. We should have incentives, whether it's a rate reduction on utilities. We have we lost Amazon to Rapid Station to Boys. There's no way we should have lost Amazon. We're not in the running. We're not business friendly, and we have to be business friendly. We have to stop depending upon utilities. We have to stop saying the people in districts number 1, 2, and 3, y'all pay the bulk of utilities and you get nothing in return. That's the reality. We export our money out of our district. In district number 3, we don't have a grocery store. I drive a diesel truck. And a year ago, I was just not able to get gas in my district.
That's not okay, Uncle Willie. That's not okay. So are there
But
any specific organizations or initiatives or programs that you would advocate for uh, to help get the people, the underserved people in your district? Are there any
what
programs you'd like to advocate for that would help?
what we what we have to do, for some reason, Alexandria ordinance supersedes state ordinance. So as far as the permitting process, our rules are more stringent than the state of Louisiana. We're not asking, we ask that if you even follow the state rules, some of these businesses can get open up. But we make it impossible for businesses to open up. That's the reality. So if we had businesses and they were paying taxes, we would have income coming in and staying within our district, and we wouldn't be so dependent upon utilities. The utilities running everything in the city of Alexandria.
So I got a question from the comments, and they want to know what are you going to do about the fuel costs in Alexandria? So that would go into what you were just talking about, using the home rule charter some sort of way, right?
You know,
To
when you go to city council meetings, they say we have some of the cheapest utilities there is. I beg to differ.
We do, we just don't utilize them. That's at the plant that we have here. With all of the profits that we've made as a city off the sale of utilities, the one machine that we need at our own plant would power all of Alexandria.
Then we might need to look at bringing some other sources in and make it
You,
competitive.
well, first, are we going to lease them that building, that property that we use?
At the end of the day, we have to do something because what we're doing right now is hurting the people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Especially the younger generation. The younger
The young-
generation here feel like they have limited access to meaningful recreational activities. Um,
you know what, Crystal? I think if we stop dictating to the youth and we start bringing them to the table and we ask them for their idea, I'm pretty sure if you ever been to any of Ash Productions or plays or any other high school, it's 100% student led. You have some very competent and capable students out there, but we never get their input. We have recreational facilities that have been closed for years. We have no after school tutorial programs that are housed at these facilities. You have no summer camps. And if you call summer camp a mobile rec unit, I'm sorry. Those buildings need to be open. Our kids need to be engaged. If you look at the arts and you look at culinary and you ask the kids what do they want to do and put programs in place centered around our kids, guess what? They'll be packed. You go
I
right
agree.
down the street to Shreveport. Shreveport run programs and they're transparent with their programs. They utilize social media. You don't have to go out there and fetch the information. We have to fetch everything in Alexandria as though we're less than human. And I beg to differ, we're not. We need a council that's willing to work for the people and put the people first. And I'm that person.
Okay, Uncle Willie. I hear you telling them. They listening to you. We got quite a few viewers. Uh, so on my channel on YouTube, I do a show what's called Bridging the Gap. I can't say I've done more than one episode, but we did do our first one in July, and we're scheduled to do our second one this month. So if you're elected Uh, how do you intend on connecting with the youth in District 3 so that you can hear them, so that you can know what they need? Such as someone suggested in the comments, being bused over to Johnny Downs, an example.
Crystal, this is the reality. I'm a deacon at True Vine Missionary Baptist Church, and I'm over community outreach.
Okay.
I do open gym at least 4 days a week. I open our facilities because I know we don't have anything available in our district. I open our facilities, I volunteer my time. I'm always looking for new and exciting resources for our youth. On Monday, I held a back to school community cuts. We cut over 113 young men and women heads. Can you imagine the self esteem that they will have going to school on tomorrow? Something as simple as a haircut we take for granted. So I've been working in our district, regardless if I have a title or not. I'm a servant. And if you're going to be a servant, you should serve. And I've been serving since day one. So I volunteer my time at my church, making sure that it's open to the community. So if I'm elected, or once I'm elected on the council, my goal is to have a program up and running within 30 days at Franco Hunter Park and all the rest of these facilities. Period.
I'm
Point
coming.
blank. And I'm willing to partner with the Rapids Parish School Board and do a community endeavor to say, hey, we have schools available. It's money out there available. You have you have tutoring money out there available under the Steve Carter grant that allows each student $1,500 per year, and that offers them 35 to 40 hours worth of tutoring, absolutely free, in math, English, and ACT prep, and that deals with kids from age K through 12. You don't hear anybody talking about those programs, do you? But they're out there. So we have to be proactive instead of reactive. Krista, you're on mute.
I absolutely agree. I was listening to you. So that answered my next question that I had for you. I was going to ask you how you being personally connected to the city would influence your campaign and priorities, but you answered that question for me, Uncle Willie. So I'm gonna move on to the next one. This one's kind of personal, right?
Yes.
It's well, you just gave me something personal. This is something a little more intimate.
Okay.
What do you love most about Alexandria? And
You know,
what are your hopes for it? Where do you want to see Alexandria when your grandchildren are my age? I'm 40. What do you want to see for Alexandria?
you know, on that food truck, people might look at it as a food truck, but I look at it as a ministry. I run across some great men and women who live paycheck to paycheck. So what I want to see is a healthy Alexandria, a Alexandria that you don't go to bed at 8 o'clock. Because currently we go to bed at 8 o'clock because there's nothing to do. I want my kids to come back to Alexandria and say, you know what? I can make a future here. I can make a decent wage here. Currently they can't. So I'm okay with them leaving outside of Alexandria. The crime rate is ridiculous. We have to change that. We have to address that. I think once we make sure that we have recreational programs and after school tutorial programs and mentoring programs, young cadets, young firefighter programs in place, and some of this stuff change. It's not going to change overnight because it took a while for us to get here. If you go outside your door, you can see the same thing you saw 20 and 30 years ago. So we have to change the way we're doing things. I want 30 to 40 years ago, I want the people to say, you know what? When Uncle Willie was in office, he fought for the people. He made sure that we had better than we had before. I want them to be proud when they walk outside their door. and say, you know what, this is my neighborhood. That's what I want.
Steve, I'm going to add myself to the table. Looked like we had some communication problems with Crystal,
Oh,
and I think I got her notes. If she comes back in, we'll go ahead and go there. But you had she's on her way back in. But I'm gonna go
okay.
ahead and get you started. How do you you mentioned earlier in the planning in your discussion with Crystal about involving youth in the planning and implementation of these recreation. How do you plan on doing that? Just curious. I mean, it was.
Jack, we have to show ourselves friendly.
Mhm.
So many times we dictate to our youth instead of having conversations with them. They're a lot smarter than we want to believe. If we engage with them, if we ask them for their help, and we tell them or we ask them what are their goals and ideas, and we plan curriculums and programs around them, and we have their input, they will attend because they had a say so in it. And then we need to stop having 50 and 60-year-olds working with them. We need to have age appropriate people working with them. We have enough universities around here. We have CLTC, we have uh, LC, we have multiple colleges that's in this area. We have some that's more than capable of working with the youth. So we have to stop putting old men and old women working with our youth, because just because you have an educational background, that doesn't mean that you enjoy working with our youth.
My apologies for leaving you.
No problem. I'm glad you're back.
I'm right back. I'm right back. Um, did you? And I'm assuming that you went ahead. I saw Jack up here and completed that answer about what you love about Alexandria and
Yes.
what you see for it for the future.
And his
So
question was, how will we engage the youth? And I told him that we need to put youth, we need to have a conversation with the youth, ask them what programs they want to see, and implement the programs they want to see and what they're interested in. And we need to stop having old men and old women working with them. You know, it's okay for them to mentor them, but they need to be working with somebody that's more along their age group, and they won't get on their nerves. And the photography thing is videography, sound room. It's so many different things that we can do that our kids enjoy participating in.
absolutely, they do. Absolutely. I'm a mom of three myself, so believe me, I get it. Um, Miss Felicia Harris mentions the homeroom charter being changed again, but I'm seeing a question where she also wants to know about the esteem of the parents and grandparents with homes with broken foundation and bad plumbing and no money for basic necessities. Would they be a priority to you? How would you address that?
They are a priority. You know, they just approved the HUD budget on yesterday at yesterday's council meeting, and we weren't able to review the HUD budget, so we don't know what it included. Um, with that being said, there are funds out there for homes that are in disrepair, that's in disarray. You know, we have to make sure that we put those funds back in our community, because currently you have nobody talking about those funds. You had a program that came last month that was looking for homes for to fix up for anybody, and that was through the Methodist Church.
I didn't hear about that.
They had a program last month, and they were coming around, and all you had to do was apply, and they'll come to your house, and the only requirement was they were going to provide all the materials and stuff, that you just give them a full days of work to do. So As far as HUD is concerned, they have dollars out there, but if nobody's telling you about the dollars, how can you apply for them? It's like a secret thing going on around this place. They don't want you to know.
So
And
you're
we have
gonna
to do a
tell me.
better job of communicating with our people. So again, I will hold community meetings every 2 weeks, and I'll attend every neighborhood watch meeting, and I will go to social media and use that platform as well.
You're committing to all of that, Uncle Willie. That's a lot to commit to.
Let me tell you something. I have a passion for the people. I've always loved my people, period, point blank. If I'm able to do it for one, my job is well done.
Well, I will say that would be. I'm a District Two native, and when I came home in 2020, that's all I wanted to be able to do was be able to have an open line of communication uh, beyond campaign and election time with my representative for my district. Not just me, the other people, the constituents, my neighborhood, my community. Uh, we all wanted the same thing, but it seems as if once they're elected into office, they have to. It's a lot of work that comes with it. Okay, it's a lot of work that comes with it. Uh, but it seems as if the team that they have campaigning, when usually campaigning, there's campaign workers. They're sending out letters. They're making phone calls. They're walking around. There's a team behind the politician.
So,
And,
so
and
let me answer this question, Crystal. So this is what I'm going to need from the people, because
okay,
I ask that the people be the wind beneath my wings.
okay,
I need representatives from Woodside, Samtown, Acadian Village, Lower Third Bogan area, downtown, Sonia Quarters, the projects better known as Parkwood Subdivision, Magnolia Street, and the Valley. So I'm calling out all those areas. You know why I'm calling out those areas? Because they're in District 3. The Sonia
correct.
Quarters have been added to District number 3.
Wait,
Just in
what?
case, just in case you don't know, the Sonia
Wait.
Quarters.
Breaking news. I looked today on the city website for the zoning map because it's been a while since I looked, and I saw that the Alexandria Power Company line was split between District 4 and District 2. So what you're telling me, Uncle Willie, is
Is
that
District 3 picked up, we lost Upper Third,
mm,
and we picked up a large 90% of the Sonia Quarters.
so that would be toward the Bringhurst Way or Dallas Way.
That would be towards the underpass way. So we go from, I think it's South Harvard, all the way back to the underpass.
Oh wow, all the way down to yeah, that is 90%. That is
90%.
90%. Wow. Well, that's news to know. We don't get any information. Right. I
So
listen.
that happened when you had a council person ask that the lines be redrawn.
So is Lee Street in your district,
Lee Street,
In District 3, um,
part of Lee Street is
right.
on the,
So the
if
parts,
you're coming down from MacArthur, if you're coming from Bowden Avenue, the left hand side is mine, District 3.
okay, and that was changed to commercial zone when in the back of the Sonia Quarters, the mill came, right? The iron
Okay.
yard.
Yes.
Um, and so a lot of those property owners, they were, I saw where their houses, parts of their houses were having issues. They had insurance, and because it was zoned as commercial property, a commercial district, a commercial zone, they weren't able to make those updates to their homes. I also saw a difference in the utilities.
Chris,
Uh,
let me tell you something. People might not want you to know this, but I'm going to tell you. Riverfront property is the most expensive property there is.
Absolutely.
We don't invest in our community on purpose. So we can
Absolutely.
buy it for cheap and make a profit off of it. You don't have anybody that's willing to stand up and say, enough is enough. I'm that person.
Well, I'll tell you what, Uncle Willie, as a native,
My goal is to educate the citizens of District Number 3 as well as all of Alexandria.
as a native of that portion that you would be gaining, you you know you have yourself something. You have yourself something like over on Jackson Street, because you have historic property in that
Yeah.
district that has never been filed as such as the Garden District and Jackson Street. And so most councilmen who have great intentions usually get outvoted because the council works that way. And so their passion and their wants don't usually get met because
So,
they don't get
Crystal,
the vote. But
if,
with
if
this,
you look at,
you would be able to file in Baton Rouge. Is that something that you would do? I'm asking that personally, just because the Sunny Waters would be in your hand now, Uncle Willie. That's my first personal question.
I made sure that I introduced myself to the Sonia Quarters Ministry because those ladies are always working, and I wanted them to know that I would that they have been added to District Number 3, and they were just as shocked as you was. And I let them know that I would work with them in any way. So whatever we have to do for all of District Number 3, as well as any other district, I'm willing to do. And you can hold me accountable. And that will be part of my 100-day plan.
Can I ask a personal favor?
Yes, ma'am.
I am not in an official capacity or part of any organizations that deal with South Alexandria, as my grandmother was. Uh, I am a native thereof, maternally and paternally, and I would be more than willing to help you whether I live there or not.
Thank
When it
you.
comes to that portion of this district, if you were elected, my favor is, would you please file the paperwork and the documents necessary to make that area officially what it is, a historic district?
Yes, ma'am. I will be honored to.
Yeah, you think you promised, Uncle Willie?
Crystal, if you know me, I'm a straight shooter and I'm going to tell it like it is. You might not like me, but I'm going to always tell you the truth. I'm an imperfect person in an imperfect world. And my ultimate goal is to love and to be loved by somebody. And if it's going to benefit our people, and when I say our people, I mean our people, I'm willing to do that. And I'm sure that there's other people that's willing to help me along this journey.
Absolutely. When you're doing your assignment, God will do that for you. Miss Felicia Ann Harris asks, what do you consider to be the broken pieces in the current council, District 3? And how would you pick up those broken pieces? What would you do with them?
Our first thing is communication, we and transparency. We like those two things. We it's not to say I'm going to call it ace of ace. Nothing has been done in our district in these last 4 years, these last 12 years, these last 14 years, these last 20 years. If you get in your vehicle and you ride and you go to the corner of Broadway and 3rd Street, you're still going to see that same building that you seen when you were a child. That's dilapidated. So tell me,
Absolutely.
our kids suffer from PTSD and they're not diagnosed. And that's our fault as a city. And then we say, go to school and have a good day. How can I go to school and have a good day and I just heard gunshots all night? How can I go to school and say it was just a killing outside my house last night? How can I go to school and say have a good day and my lights were off and I got dressed at the corner store? How can you say have a good day? It's not a good day. Alexandria, we have a problem, and the time for change is now.
Yeah, more like yesterday. But you sure sound sincere, and you sure sound like you got it, Uncle Willie.
Crystal, I have been putting a lot of work in, not just these last 4 years, but I think I'm made for this because again, I could have been anything that I wanted to be, but I didn't let that define me. I truly have a passion for the people, all people, and it shows every day. I can travel from Woodside to Coliseum in Windermere and have a conversation with anybody, but everybody wants the same thing. They want a better life for their family. We don't want you to give us anything for free. We'll work for it. We value the little things that we do have. We'll take that old beat up car that you don't want and we'll shine it up. So we like our stuff too. It's just the idea that we can't get out of the hole because we're enslaved to utilities.
Yeah, amongst other things, but utilities is definitely a stronghold. Mr. Jimmy Washington, let's see, Uncle Willie, how good you've done and how good I've listened. I should be able to answer this. He asked, "How do you feel about creating committees to assist and brainstorm community improvement?"
Jimmy,
Uh, let's see if I can answer. If I can answer it, then you've done good so far.
okay.
I think I've heard this. I think I've heard this. Uncle Willie says every 2 weeks, let's meet and greet. Uncle Willie says he on social media as he has been with Urban Cast. He will be also as District 3 Councilor. He says the people is absolutely how he will do it. The wind beneath his wings is actually a direct quote. So he said, let's go. He said for District 3 to reach out to him, get him in office, and let's go. Did I get that right, Uncle Willie?
You did get that right, but you forgot to call out the Woodside, Samtown, Acadian Village, Lower Third, Bogan, downtown Sonia Quarters, the projects, aka Parkwood Subdivision, Magnolia Street, and the Valley. I need all of y'all. So if you grab five and bring five, come to those council meetings and hold me accountable and watch me work for you.
And so they absolutely are saying, okay, that looks like they're agreeing with your vision. They're amening it being displayed all over the Facebook waves. And
I truly have a 100-day plan. That 100-day plan will be published. I want you to hold me accountable.
they want to make sure that uh, I did get a text message actually, Uncle Willie, since I've been here from. I got a huge family. Some of them live in parts of your district, and they are concerned about how often tree limbs and large debris and things of that nature is picked up. And here's an additional comment that goes right along with that as it pertains to all of those old buildings like the Ace Hardware building and old houses that are just falling down and you can't do anything with them anymore.
You know, yesterday they approved $100 million budget to Soulscape for trimming the tree limbs from off the power lines. And my question was, who's going to hold Soulscape accountable uh, to make sure that they cut those trees off the power lines? So,
How
uh,
much did they approve?
over $1 million to Soulscape to go around and trim the tree limbs off of power lines. Uh, and that's for a year. But at the same time, I do see those dilapidated buildings all over my neighborhood. I do see that asbestos commercial site behind the Dollar General on Willow Glen. I do see those old buildings on Third Street and Broadway, and the true value. We need to hold those landlords accountable, and if they can't get it fixed in a timely fashion, we need to go ahead and put liens on it, and or have it to where we can put laws into place to say, hey, this property is behind X amount of dollars in taxes. You purchase it and you get it online and you awarded that piece of property. They're doing it in other places. We have to think outside the box
Yes,
because
you're
we're spending millions of dollars just cutting grass on adjudicated property. We can put those properties back into surplus. I know if I had some on side of me, I'll buy it. I got some directly across the street from me. You know, the grass is knee high. So I know what you're looking at.
so I also think a lot of those properties, not think, I know of a few situations over my lifetime where the paperwork, the deeds, and things of that nature were lost, destroyed, or weren't kept up to date beyond the owner's passing. Um, what do you think about having secession? Isn't that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Teaching the constituents about how to obtain that paperwork. There is a way for them to get it, and a lot of them are just ignorant to how to go about doing it.
That's the same thing that I was talking about with if we hold a series of meetings, just like we'll do about the disparity study, and making sure that the people get their license and all the things that they need. It's the same way. We have to educate the people. We have to. We can create series and put it on social media to where they can watch it anytime at their convenience. Why we have city council meetings at 3:30 and 5 o'clock and we don't broadcast them live? The average working person's at work. That's why they can't attend them. We got to change the way that we're doing things. Do we really want input from the citizens? I think not. The people are powerful, but they took your voice and you think you're not powerful. You're powerful. And that's why I ask that you go to those polls and you vote.
So, Uncle Willie,
Yes,
if
Crystal.
let's just say that myself and Felicia Ann Harris, I don't know you, but hey, and those other people who believe in what you're saying to us, and we push you, and we get you there, you get the votes, and you're elected, and we won't even hold you maybe to your first 100 days.
I want you to.
Maybe we'll even give you one whole calendar year because you're human, and but
That's what's been happening, and that's where we've been going wrong. We've been saying, I'm going to hold you to 1 year. I'm going to hold you to 2 years. 3 and then 4 years. And it's like, oh, I need you to vote for me. No, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, get rid of me.
okay, well, do you feel like the town hall meetings are effective to hear what the needs of the community?
Listen, I'm willing to hold a town hall, a debate, whatever it takes for the people to get the word out. I'm
Okay.
scared.
You need to audit and review. You need an audit review and report committee to locate
Yes,
the eyesores in District 3.
you're absolutely right. You know, I was told yesterday that you go to the Alex Connect app and then you plug it in and then they'll come and they'll come on now. We don't have enough people to check that. We're constantly hiring for the city of Alexandria.
So you're saying that 102 days, um, I can purchase as long as I give 30-day notice, right? Urban Cast. I'm asking Urban Cast this question now.
What's that
As
question?
long as I give at least a month in advance notice,
Uh
which
huh.
is month before Uncle Willie makes his 100 days.
Uh-huh.
Will you run my event where I have a signing for us to recall him, and then all the District 3 recall him?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
yes,
Absolutely.
wouldn't have to pay you a dime as long as it's money in the bank.
Absolutely.
yes.
We're gonna hold him to his his campaign promises.
Uncle Willie, are you gonna fight it or you gonna go?
This is the reality. Urban Cast has a copy of my 100-day plan already.
So when will the public have it?
The public will have it just as soon as we start doing these debates.
Okay, so what you're saying is call them. Are you calling them out? Is that what's happening right now?
They need to make sure that they have a 100-day plan in place.
Okay.
And I have a detailed outline 100-day plan.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm usually a tougher interviewer than Jack, and I'm usually a little more straightforward. I'll say, Uncle Willie, that this first interview between you and I has been really smooth, really smooth. I'd like to see those debates as well, and if you guys need me to come to that location physically and host those debates, feel free to reach out.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Crystal.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Central Louisiana. Thank you, District Number 3.
I guess tonight, Steve, since you're not representing Urban Cast, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you: would you have any other words that you'd like to say before we proceed to get out of this room this evening?
I just want the citizens of District Number 3 to know that I'm sincere, that I'm a man with a past. I'm an imperfect person in an imperfect world. I've made mistakes, but I truly have a passion for the people. Alexandria is my home. District 3 is my home. And I'm willing to work day one. I don't need any training wheels or say I'm just learning. Hold me accountable day number one. You should have held me accountable when I signed up to run. That's when you should have started holding me accountable. So I'm ready to work for the people, all the citizens of Alexandria, especially the citizens of District Number 3. So I'll be coming to your door pretty soon. If you would like to volunteer with this campaign, you can always give me a call at 318-290-0057, or you can always email Uncle Willie Chark at yahoo.com.
Well, certainly, Uncle Willie, we want to definitely, from an Urban Cast standpoint, thank you for joining us tonight and sharing your visions for District 3. We appreciate your insight and dedication to the community. Crystal, I definitely want to say a big shout out to you and thank you for agreeing to host tonight and host Steve. And see, I'm slipping now, Uncle Willie. He always talking about Brandon, so let me get it right before I get chewed out after it's over with. But I definitely want to say a big thank you to you, and at any time, you're always welcome to join us over here at Urban Cast. I also want to say a big thank you to our followers for tuning in and participating in this discussion. Your engagement is what makes this show special. We also want to extend gratitude to our advertisers, Math Makes Sense, National Auto and Tire, Sadler's Towing, and Long Product. Your support keeps our show going. Coming up on tomorrow, we'll interview current Councilman Lee Rubin. He's the incumbent of one of the City Council at large seat. And next Thursday, we'll be interviewing Louisiana State Senator Cleo Fields. Senator Fields is a candidate for the U.S. Representative of the newly formed District 6 seat. Remember, guys, if you guys haven't registered to vote, you can do so online at govote.com. Let's continue to stay involved and make a positive impact on our community. Have a great night, everyone.